crazy bright and hot. Jenny has entered the waiting room.
Can you see?
Probably. She is a very enthusiastic young woman. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
She's fantastic with this. I thank you to Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have people.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this layer on.
See if we can get some more people in here before we.
Let's see Schwartz.
Schwartz.
With the silent R.
Schwartz.
Oh, I didn't see the R.
Let's hope we get some other people.
Well, that's fine.
Go ahead, go grab some. That's fine.
I'll have to pee if I get too much.
It's okay. We're not going to be on here all that long. Hello, hello. Hey, Jen. Hey, Betsy. Oh my gosh, how cool I get to see you in real life person. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We are getting our act together here. This was a very last minute thing that I did not ask my husband if he was willing to do until after I promised it. And so he's being very sweet.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you Betsy?
I'm Betsy. Yeah.
I'm Peter. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And of course, you know Jenny.
Yes, of course.
And Jenny, thanks
Hey,
for being
Jenny.
here. This is so last minute. I can't believe that
My
we
pleasure.
have anyone tonight. And then Lisa, it looks like she's connecting to audio, and she's also in the DOE group with Betsy. And
Oh,
so they all came through DOE today when I, on live camera, argued with Creator about doing this tonight. Hey, Liz. Hey, Charlotte.
Hey, Charlotte.
Liz Garrison. Oh, for goodness sake. Finally, I get to see you in person. Hello.
Oh, now let me turn off the speakers a minute. I have it.
Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Charlotte. You know Peter, right? Have you guys seen
We've
it?
communicated.
But not in, like, in physical person.
Yeah.
I'm
Hi,
still
nice
working.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Charlotte.
Peter. Charlotte is my beloved in Bristol. And
Oh, like Bristol. What a cool town.
Yeah, Bristol's
and
great.
Lisa, welcome. Lisa, this is my husband Peter.
Hello, nice to
Hi.
meet you.
Lisa's also in the group, and Liz is too. So Liz, this is Peter. I'm not sure. I don't think you guys have ever connected before. Oh, this is so great. At the last second that we could still get a few people is amazing. This was just such a last minute idea, but it seemed relevant and apparently pertinent because as some of you saw, I was arguing with Creator about doing it at the last second like this, and there's some good information that wants to come through. So I'm glad that we're here. Just sitting and preparing a little bit and talking about it, we realized, okay, this is pretty important. So thank you for being here on a Friday evening. Let's just begin with everybody getting a breath, including myself. Let's all just take a nice breath and get all the way here and slow down just enough to show up and be fully present. There's going to be some good information that comes through. So, and I like to breathe in through the top of my head and down through my body into the earth. I notice that the sun is right at the top of my crown chakra. Look at that.
It is. Got you. Reminds me of that image I did of you with
the Buddha.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
That way we don't get feedback.
Yeah, That's great. Thank you. Oh, that's nice. That feels so much better. Well, welcome to our little Solstice Eve preparation offering to you. We won't keep you all very long tonight. We're just going to impart some things that we know, and we're going to make a few suggestions based on what we know. And then if any of you have something you'd like to offer up, any words of wisdom or any insights or downloads that you're getting, that we're going to have a little space for that too. But again, I'm just so grateful you all are here tonight. And then you get to meet my honey. Oh, that's so great. I'm so happy about that. That's terrific.
It's good to see these faces. I see the names, but I don't see the faces, so it's really cool.
Right, right. So, so as many of you heard me say earlier, we have the solstice coming tomorrow, and on the heels of that, we have a new moon in Cancer, and we have a, bless you,
Thank you.
a solar eclipse as well on the early, is it the wee hours of the 21st? We were looking at the time.
It's like 1:49 a.m. Eastern time.
In the Eastern time zone.
So early morning for Charlotte.
Very, yeah. Well, anyway, it's so within this 9-hour window between the apex of the solstice and the maximum at the solar eclipse, there's this very intense period, this very hopeful period of potential. And I want to just talk a little bit about that with how the solstice typically runs. Is that summer solstice, and that's the case for us in the northern hemisphere, since we're all, you know, up here in the north, we've got the summer. Down in the southern hemisphere, they have winter solstice right now. But typically the summer solstice is this light energy. It's like, oh, you know, this excitement and ecstasy, and it feels like you could just dance all night. And sorry, I'm not trying to hit you, I promise, but but that you feel like you could just dance all night, and it's, you know, ha-cha-cha and joyful. And, you know, we used to have this place in the mountains in North Carolina where we would have bonfires on the solstice, and we would just play outside till the wee hours and dance around the fire, and just, it was so much fun. And so it was like, you know, the height of the year. And that goes with how much light there is. You know, the solstice means that there's the most light. Summer solstice is the longest day and the shortest night. And so all of that light becomes this focal point of being liberated from our shadow for at least a little while, you know, being liberated from the darkness, being liberated from the heaviness. And we've certainly had plenty of heaviness. You know, the first 6 months of this year have been a doozy. And so it feels like this little moment, like I was saying on the live earlier today, when you're getting ready on that roller coaster, you're getting ready to go over the hill, you know, you're chucking up, and you're like, and there's this, you know, feeling of lightness, and then the slipping as you go down. This solstice is that height feeling, that lifting up feeling. And so there's this ecstasy, you know, this, like, this is so fabulous, this feels so good, and it feels so wonderful, and it should feel that way. That is typical for solstices, summer solstices. However, we have a very interesting configuration, and I am not an astrologer, but I have some good colleagues and friends who are astrologers. Welcome, Josette. I'm so glad you're here. Who have shared that there's a very interesting collection of events happening in this, you know, short window of time, and that literally 9 hours after the peak of the solstice is the peak of this major solar eclipse that is lining up to be a choice point. So basically what it looks like is that we have this wonderful high and this reset button that basically gets pushed. An article that I've seen shared in a couple places, and Charlotte shared it today in Daughters of Earth, is that the energy grids, the ley lines in the earth are going to be taken down and then rebooted in this period of time. And that as a result of that, and as a result of all this cosmic real estate that we're in with the various planets that are showing up and the timing of the window of everything, that it could go either way. It could be this beautiful future, this beautiful next 6 months, for example, or it could be really, really hard, really, really hard. And so I like the option of choosing myself.
Really easy sounds good to me. Really wonderful.
I would like the bright future.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like the bright future.
Enough of the craziness.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been, you know, I have to believe there's a blessing in everything. You know, that's just my philosophy in life, that there's a blessing in everything. But if it would be nice if they could let off the gas a little bit. It'd be nice to have a little break. We're learning a lot though, so at least we're mining it, you know, mining the hard stuff.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, like we have this option, and that 9-hour window feels like we need to be very intentional in that 9-hour window. Because when the 9-hour window is up, the choice is made. The choice is made. Which road are we going down? And so it's which choice individually, and then which choice collectively, which choice for the world.
Right. One of the things that I found really interesting in the research we were doing is that the height of the eclipse is going to be right over the crown chakra of the earth, right over a mountain in Mount Kailas in Tibet. And it is going to be, I mean, that's where it all is. You know, that's the center point. The Earth's download, the Earth's information, she's getting it. And as Licia's been talking about, we're in the middle of a major evolution that Earth is going through. And it'll be interesting to see. And again, I hope we choose that road of goodness and beauty and partnership. But it'll be interesting to see what the collective chooses.
Mm-hmm.
We're living in a really amazing time, and that doesn't mean it's always comfortable when we live in an interesting and amazing time. But we have this chance for tremendous transformation. And what I'm getting from Great Father is that really this is a time to be very careful about the intentions that you set and the attention you give them. That we really need to reach deep into that collective, the collective wisdom of the divine feminine, to really check out what we intend for the next period of time, and that we can help with that tipping point. We can help shift the collective through intentionality. And the role of the masculine is to put things into action. And what I'm hoping is that the masculine and our collective once again starts listening to the feminine, because it's been about 10,000 years since that's been habit, since that's been a normal way of doing things. And if that shift happens, we will be living in an age that will be tremendous for us, for our kids, and for the planet. And that's my hope. Yeah. So that's what I'm getting.
Well said. Yeah. Well, and not coincidentally, because it's summer solstice for us, it's the light and the sun, you know, and father energy, masculine energy is the high point, is the focus, is the zenith, you know. And it certainly brings it even closer to home, because Sunday in the US is Father's Day. I don't know if you guys have that everywhere else, but Yeah, we have Father's Day on Sunday. And so it's like, okay, let's see. Solstice, father, new moon in Cancer, mother, eclipse, mother comes in front of father, moon comes in front of son. And then we have Father's Day. It's like, we need to get mama and daddy together. there's some trouble brewing here. So that's where I went with my thinking of how am I going to bring this in? How am I going to bring my own intention into the world I want to see and the life I want to be living personally, is to bring my masculine home to the feminine.
Mhm.
My own inner masculine home into her arms, where she can hold him, grab him and say, here's what we need to do. And then he could be like, okay, get out there and do it internally in my own self. And of course, you all know we have masculine, feminine energy inside all of us. And so in what ways can I bring my own holy masculine, my own sacred masculine into partnership with my own feminine? And that's my intention, is to bring him home to her. So I thought, okay, here's a ritual. Here's something that we could each do. So tomorrow you can do this if you like. So we lit a candle, and I suggest that you all do this tomorrow. And I asked for something bright and sunny. Like, this is an alabaster jar from Egypt, and it has the candle inside of it, and it just glows this orange, pink, bright yellow. It's so yummy. And I look at this and I think of fire, the fire of the sun, and the fire of my own inner masculine. And in the body, where is fire? We sometimes will see it in the heart, and we sometimes will see it in the belly, in the power center. And, where is my fire? And so really connecting with fire and light and sun and father and masculine, like putting all of that together in myself, really feeling that in myself. And in feeling it, zeroing in on it, asking that masculine in me, I choose, I want you, I request, I command, that my masculine come home to my inner feminine and come into partnership, and that I can then burn if something comes up to my mind, like what's in the way? How do I resist? What ways do I resist wisdom? What ways do I not act on wisdom? What ways do I act impulsively without any checking in at all? How do I run people over, interrupt or run people over and not allow them time to talk? These little ways that our masculine energy isn't necessarily partnering with the feminine, and then I can write that down on paper and burn it in the candle or burn it in the fire. That's my suggestion for a nice ritual for tomorrow.
Yeah, I have always found that to be helpful when we've done that, because it's clear, it's in the form of an intention, and it's also using one of the elements to help do the transformation. And that's what this particular solstice, with everything that's happening, is about transformation. So let's make it intentional.
That's for sure.
For me, it's the same the same thing that I keep working on. I'm a victim of patriarchy, just like everybody is on this planet, and part of the wounds of patriarchy is fear of being subsumed by the feminine and losing identity and self. And so I've got to get my inner Jon Snow to bend the knee and to really embrace the feminine and not resist the feminine. Now, hopefully, my divine feminine will not go and slaughter a bunch of people. You know?
She wouldn't do that.
Right.
Not if she's partnered.
Right. So that's my mission and continues to be my mission, so that I can really pay attention to that wisdom of the divine feminine that lives within me and within all of us and emanates from the core of our planet. And how can I cooperate with that? And not get caught up in me. It has to be exactly the way I want it, exactly the way I think it should be, and even being willing, and certainly the past 6 months have been about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, in so many ways. And our life personally has reflected that in bringing our son home with us to live with us. And he's a very intense person and very driven. And part of his mantra is being uncomfortable, or being comfortable being uncomfortable. So he will try to make you uncomfortable to see if you can be comfortable in it, as 23-year-olds typically do. Try to impose their will on a situation. So that's where I am, is I want that my masculine, which really at its core just wants to be doing its own thing, and it really doesn't care as long as it's doing something, that unpartnered masculine. It's just do. Don't ask why. You know, okay, let's split an atom. That sounds like fun. Oops, bad idea. You know, let's pollute the planet by doing all these things we love to do. Oops, that's a bad idea. Let's treat people with disrespect. Oops, that's a bad idea. So I want to close that gap and really bring the masculine home and have that partnership all the time, where I can take action that is divinely inspired by what is good for me and good for the whole, because those are the same thing if we're really paying attention. So that's the transformation I'm seeking.
So I was checking in. Do you have something more? Yes.
I'm pretty fired up. No, but I'm
Okay.
I'm
You can
good.
say you're fired up. Did you say you're
I'm
fired up? Okay. The check-in. I was asked to bring into the conversation that we can have fears of the masculine. We as women in particular, I think, we can probably understand why there are some fears of the masculine, and maybe even in men there's fear of the masculine too. And especially in that face of the good father or the bad father, you know, the father that is the great father, sort of the ideal archetypal father, that energy of being cherished and protected and stood up for and taught and wisely guided, you know, versus a father that, you know, preys upon or abuses or takes away, you know, very different ideas of father. And with this Father's Day this weekend too, I mean, it's so power packed. It's just like, it's so intense. There's so much there to really root out the bad father in each of us.
Mhm.
And maybe you had a fabulous father, you know, I don't know, you know, your individual situations, but if there is some internalized fathering there that is not partnered masculine energy, that to root that out, to be like, okay, that's what I want to burn. That's the piece that goes into the fire this weekend.
Yes.
Because I choose to bring my masculine home. So I'm thinking about that. Like I'm thinking of an example of something that I would burn. Yeah, I in my communication, that's one piece. I want to be respectful in fully receiving communication with my feminine, like really receive it, take it into myself when someone's speaking to me, and not throw out, express out, you know, interrupting or getting, so enthusiastic and excited that I just have to burst it out, and that, because that's not respecting the communication. That's not respecting partnership. That is something I learned from my father. So I'm going to burn that one. That's an example.
I'm going to burn that inner critic that finds every little weakness that I have and just keeps gnawing on it and talking about it and whispering in my ear how bad I am, how I would be so much better if not this, or if just this, because that was my actual father. His mode was to find a weakness and to pick at it and pick at it and pick at it. So of course, that's what my inner masculine will do to me if I'm not partnered. So
what would it look like for it to be the ideal, the good father in you,
the
inside of you?
The good father would notice all the good things that I'm doing and tell me, wow, good job. Wow, you worked really hard today. You really put your heart and your mind into everything you did. You made space to work out. You were really present when you were with Licia this morning. You did everything with intention today. And you may not have been perfect, because that's impossible, but you did everything with intention. And when you were off course, you corrected yourself easily. That's what a really great father would say. And might say, hey, you're drifting a little bit. Ignore Facebook. You don't need to look at that right now. You got stuff to do. Yeah. Don't get caught up. Yeah. So that's what the good father would say. And then come back and say 5 minutes later, wow, isn't it cool to see how much you get done? Isn't it cool to see how you feel when you don't let yourself get off track? Be the voice of positive reinforcement and gentle correction.
I love it. I like being able to look at the good example, and kind of fill that in after releasing the example we want to let go of. So I think that's a really good idea for tomorrow to prepare. So, do you guys have any thoughts about this? Anything that any of you would add to what we've said?
Raise your hand
Or unmute
or
yourself.
just unmute yourself,
and
yeah.
Just speak up if you wish.
The good father says you have permission.
And a good mother too. I was interested to read again the article that Charlotte sent, because it mentions the Michael Mary line in the UK. And even though the eclipse isn't going over the Michael Mary line, because it's not going over the UK, it's touching the crown chakra that you talked about at Mount Kalis. Is that energy line runs through,
Right.
or connects to the Michael Mary line in the UK. So found that absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it comes right near where I live. Right, well, 30 kilometers away from my house.
Oh my gosh.
I was thinking a little bit about some of the work that we've been doing in the Daughters of Earth program. When you showed us the magnet over your energy line as a way of shifting some energy.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of that. The magnet, that's going to be the sun and the moon coming over that line and that energy shifting. So I thought that was really cool.
Ooh, yes. And the magnet that we use that for over the meridian, the governing meridian, the central governor, is to kind of loosen, get it moving so that then the intention can direct it. Just kind of get that, So that could be really a neat way of thinking about it in terms of how you work with that movement tomorrow. And for the eclipse, too, it's moving. So how will you direct it? Similar to what we were just saying, is again, which way will it go?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a really cool parallel. Oh, welcome, Lee. I saw Lee just came on. Welcome, Lee.
Hello.
Anybody else have something you want to add? Or go ahead, Betsy. Can you unmute? There you go.
So can we have an intention for ourselves personally and for the collective?
I think so.
Yeah,
Just to-
Yes, because we're part of the collective. So yes, we can.
Okay, so just be clear about what you're going to ask for before the time comes.
Mhm.
yes.
Okay.
I am getting something about this. Hang on just one second.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get schooled. I just get schooled all the time. I was just told that the personal intention is the one to put 90% of your focus in, and that the collective one, the 10%, because your 90% is going to inform the collective one. So if we're creating a good, strong thread in the tapestry, that is positive and loving and straight, and I choose, and this is going to be good, and this is towards wholeness, and that thread in the tapestry is adding to all the other threads in the tapestry. And so we'll hope that many threads are focusing on positive, singular intentions, personal intentions tomorrow, so that the tapestry can lift up. Does that make sense?
I do have a piece that I only want to say a little bit about, because we are in this tremendous window of transformational possibility. That send a prayer to Tulsa, Oklahoma tomorrow. That's a wish, to send a prayer to Tulsa, Oklahoma, that we get the best possible outcome for the growth, the peaceful growth of our country, and right now the whole world is watching what's happening. So it's really important that that transformation, this could be a moment in history that we look back on in a really amazingly wonderful way. And that's what I would like to see. So that's the prayer I would, and that was coming in.
So it feels like lifting it up from the heart, like
Yes.
If I'm putting the attention on my own personal intention for wholeness in myself, and then I see earth in my heart too, maybe that's a way of doing that.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything you want to add, or
Yes, Lisa.
Go ahead and unmute. There you go.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
so glad you're here.
Thank you. So I live in Northern Canada.
Oh, wonderful.
And yeah, and so I'm going out on a limb, and I am having a gathering at my house tomorrow night. There will be 14 women. I lead women's circles. And the ritual, I'm co-leading with a friend of mine, and the ritual I was going to do was a candle ritual. And I was going to ask the women to write in the wax of the candle.
Okay.
And we were talking about, like, Joss, my friend, she was gonna do a inner child meditation of the masculine and feminine within us, and creating that union. So I was just wondering if I could bring pieces of what you taught us now into my candle ritual with the women.
Oh, of course, of course. And of course, absolutely. That would be lovely. And feel free, we do this every Sunday at noon Eastern time. We get together, and because Peter brings in Great Father and I bring in Great Mother, and Sacred Union is our jam. That's where we're at, and where we want to take the whole world. So feel free to invite your women to come tonight.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's fine. Thank you for asking, though. That's very kind of you, very gracious of you to ask. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have found this community, because I just love everything that I've heard so far.
Good.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, welcome. And I hope you can make it Sunday. We're going to do some father work on Sunday.
Yeah. Just make sure you send them to that link of the Juicy Sacred Sunday page, because that way anybody you send to that link, when they sign up there, they'll automatically get all the reminders that they need to get.
Perfect.
Oh, have a beautiful, beautiful ritual, beautiful night.
Well, it's going to be, how far north are you in Canada?
Quite far north, so it doesn't really get dark out this time of year.
Wow.
Yeah, it gets like dark for about 2 hours ish, but not. Yeah.
Wow.
I have not experienced that. I would like to in my lifetime experience that.
Remember how late it stayed light when we were in the UK
Oh yeah, it was wild.
last summer?
Yeah, it's so much
Quite a
farther
long
north
time.
than we think it is
Mhm.
in North America.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you chiming in, and have a wonderful time tomorrow night.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
Liz, I see you have a hand up. Liz, can you unmute yourself?
Or I can unmute her.
You think you can do it?
Yeah.
Wait, Peter's gonna.
There.
Oh, we got it. You got it. Somebody got it.
She got it.
Okay, cool.
Hi.
Hi.
hello.
It's so nice to see you. We have been
Oh,
for 10 years.
years. You guys were doing your you sold everything and went on your camper.
Oh
And
my God.
I just
Yeah.
want to thank you both for being such an inspiration and modeling that. And from the moment I kind of found you, it was like a great relief. Because sometimes you feel like you're sitting here and you're carrying the collective and pulling it along, and to find people with like minds and hearts is a very it's like a nice soothing balm. We're not in not alone. I too am feeling the extraordinary of everybody who is an empath or a light worker is feeling what's going on in the world. And I was just talking to some of my friends yesterday saying we need to anchor this. We need to show up, and we need to make sure. And I do get that vision of the grid. It's funny that what's going on is going over the grid. I do that vision comes in a lot, and firing up that grid. So, and then the opposing forces that are going on in Tulsa. Thank you, Peter, for bringing that up. It's huge. And thank you so much for showing up, and so much for your work. Like, I can't even, yes. So.
This one.
Thank you. Nice to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Thank
so
you.
important, and you're making such a difference. So keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah.
Liz, where are you? Are you in Asheville?
Northern California.
California, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh. And then all the Black Lives Matter and all, I mean, it's like all the infection is getting out right now. I mean, it's so, as you know, it's just, these are the times.
Yeah.
For the people. Yeah.
Trial by fire, initiation.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. So thank you. I really, really wanted to anchor this. And when I was on your call this morning, and you're like, oh, just a minute. Oh, no, I'm not having date night. I'm going to be having a call. I was like, yes.
This is a different kind of date
A different
night.
one, yeah. I guess I could share my husband with all of you a little bit. I guess that's okay.
Love it.
Sure,
Love it.
you.
Oh gosh, that's too funny.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Liz. Really glad.
Yeah, I haven't checked out your site yet. I want to go and check it out and see.
Oh my gosh. There's so much
yeah.
cool stuff going on. There's so much cool stuff going on.
All that.
Yeah. DaughtersofEarth.com. Go check that out. I'm making a university for women.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're
Yeah.
amazing.
Right?
Inspirational. Amazing.
Mm.
Go, woman.
With a lot of help from this one.
So
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
And some really good women out there helping me get it tuned up. And I'm pointing at you, Josette.
Josette is one of their wonderful members of the
Okay, should I unmute
Good,
now?
so
So
good.
somebody
Hey,
else can
Lee,
talk?
we see you. We see you waving. Thank you, Liz. Lee, did you have something you wanted to say? Okay, let's see if we can, let me see if I can unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, great.
Hello.
I'm in,
Welcome.
as you can tell, I'm in my car driving to
Yeah.
South Florida unexpectedly. But
Oh, boy.
but I just realized it was past 7 o'clock and my husband's driving, so
Oh, how
Okay.
nice.
I had a chance to
Great.
join. So
Well,
yeah, I just
welcome.
wanted. Thank you. So I just wanted to, I guess, ask, because I'm kind of new at all this. I've been following you for a while. We met and connected at an event, a women's event, and I've agreed with all your things. And then I think last week you had posted something on ancestral healing that I purchased, and I'm going through it right now.
Oh,
So I'm
good.
kind of new. Yeah, it's really good, especially because I'm somebody that has been fascinated with my ancestors. I've been doing my genealogical tree for a couple of years. And I've
Good.
been fascinated with that. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is something that I definitely see in me. And I see that, but I also have like a curiosity and a thirst to learn about, you know, where I'm from and, you know, what my ancestors have left behind for me.
Mm.
But so I'm kind of, I accidentally ran into your live thing this morning, kind of, let me click on that. And then I heard a little bit, and you said something, you were doing something for a solstice, and it resonated with me. And I was like, yeah, I have been incredibly anxious for the past 2 weeks, like hard to breathe anxious, which is unusual for me. I mean, I do have anxiety, but not as constant, considering that things are, for the most part, going well in my life. And so as a novice, like, so what am I supposed to be, how does that connect to the solstice, and what am I supposed to be doing about it, is my question.
Your perfect segue into just summarizing what we just talked about earlier about how we can do it. No, it's perfect. So thank you for that. And may I just add something that I want to just affirm that you can breathe fine. So I can breathe. I am breathing. I am here. I am breathing. Keep that one moving through your head. Just to, yeah, I am here and I am breathing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's summarize what we just talked about in terms of how we can prepare for this amazing weekend, this like unbelievable weekend. So going into it tonight, we're going to be celebrating. We're going to be like lights, you know, fun, the dancing around the fire that we used to do, you know, back in the day, just, you know, having a good time, having date night, you know, putting some music on, making some good food, maybe drink a glass of wine, fun and light and humor, laughter, you know, being good medicine. That's what we're going to do tonight.
I'm actually working tonight and holding a baby tonight, so.
Oh, holding a baby tonight.
Because
okay.
I'm a birth and postpartum doula. So
oh, how lovely. Oh,
that's
yummy.
interesting, because that was unexpected. So it's kind of nice that I get to do that.
Love
My husband
that.
and I were both saying, like, wow, we had this thought to go down to South Florida for fun, but we didn't really make it come to fruition. And then today I was kind of propelled because someone asked me to come down. So it's kind of interesting. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And then tomorrow and during the day, you know, before the actual apex of the solstice. So you want to check your time zone, like Google June 2020 solstice and get your time zone so you know like the exact moment of the apex. So prior to the apex, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be thinking about what's the intention I'm going to set in that moment. What's the intention I want to set for the next 6 months of this year here in the light where it can be seen. And we've been talking a lot about father and masculine energy and fire and light and bringing him home into partnership with the feminine in ourselves. And then, of course, we hope to see it in the collective as well. So in the moment of the solstice, and again, check your time zone for that, that would be the moment to have your candle ready to roll, right?
Okay.
And I set my intention. I choose this, whatever your intention may be. For me, I choose to bring my inner masculine come home to my inner feminine, into her arms and into partnership. That will be my intention. So you can decide what your intention will be. And then after that intention is set, so that post apex, right? The moments after the apex, then burn the old father, the bad father, the father we don't want to have inside of us anymore, so that we can replace with the good father. Because then Sunday is Father's Day. And in addition to that is the solar eclipse, which is on a very intense trajectory. And so it's sort of like working with the wave, you know, of these natural events and timing our intention and our action with these waves, so we get the maximum benefit out of it. I love getting all my money's worth. You know? Get it, the maximum bang for the buck, you know. So
This is like it's like being in a car and the hand of God pushing you from behind. I mean, it's that kind of.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah, when you cooperate with the larger energy, it really is like wind in your sails.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting what significance it has that we're headed back to where we used to live in this particular weekend. So personally, I wonder what that symbolizes. But that's interesting. I've definitely planned to do that.
Okay, good.
Tomorrow. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. And I'll go ahead and mute you so we can get there we go. So we don't have the background. Perfect. Okay. So, Betsy, did you have something else?
Yeah,
Go
just
ahead.
one quick question. You mentioned the 9 hours. So from when solstice begins to, okay, is that what you were just going to cover?
I was. And so thank you for keeping me on track too, because I really get interested in what people say and I can sometimes lose my way. So the 9 hours is from the apex of the solstice to the apex of the solar eclipse. So you want to Google the apex of the solar eclipse to the totality, the moment of totality, what that time zone, you know, for your time zone, I should say. And they're 9 hours apart between solstice and the solar eclipse apex. So that 9 hours is spent in prayer. You know, at the solstice, you've set your intention, you're now burning, you know, what you're ready to release. And then the prayer is, my inner father cherishes me. My inner father protects me. My inner father is good to everyone. My inner father
Has strong, safe boundaries.
encourages, you know,
Yes.
like think what is that father we've all internalized, those, you know, despite that we may have had a wonderful father, that there's aspects of the collective father that are in us that we can't help that we've internalized. So to replace that father with a good father.
See you, Jenny.
Jenny.
So just to clarify, the good or bad father, that's the good or bad masculine, and it can be in men and women. So it could have been in our, like if we think of our personal lives, it could have been our mother or father, or
Sure.
okay.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or in ourselves, of course.
Right.
Within yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. The father that you've internalized, you know, and it's funny that this is so funny, and we're almost done, you guys, so we'll let you go. But there's this, you know, the Thor movies, right? All the Thors, the Marvel series, all the Thor movies. Does anybody not watch the Thor movies? Excuse me. Oh, they're so good. You have to watch, Betsy. They're so fabulous. So the character of Odin is played by Anthony Hopkins, who of course is an amazing, you know, thespian in his own right. But he's the old father. old father, Odin, the old father. And there's something in the way that he shows up that inspires this idea of an archetypal good father to me. Not the violent, wrathful, vengeful father, but the father that cares for legacy and cares for the future generations and makes hard decisions sometimes to protect, the future generations. And so if you're looking for some archetypal, like what are some examples, maybe check that out. And then maybe you've got some that you could, just message me about or post them in the Facebook group or something, some ideas, of what are some examples of really good fathers out there. So we can kind of think about, what am I replacing with?
Yeah, and I want to be really clear on what Jenny asked. I think that when we're talking about father, the internal father, we really are talking about our inner masculine right now, and really bringing him home into partnership, into the arms of the inner feminine, so they are both partnered, and they're the best expression of themselves that way.
Yeah. And this gets into going down the rabbit hole a little bit. And some of you are in the New Earth Protocol class and have been studying in the library, and others of you haven't. So I don't want to throw you another thing to think about that may be confusing, but the masculine is very pure and primal, and the feminine energy is very pure and primal, and mother and father are a combination of both in each, so the idea of talking about father is actually a way to weave in the Father's Day element, which is also Sunday. And we're looking a lot at collective fathering right now, especially in my country, our country of the US. The father of our country right now is, my opinion, bad father, bad father. And so it's like, since father's up, I would like a good father for my country. I would like a good father for my world. I would like to see more examples of that. So that's why we're playing with the fathers, because Father's Day is on Sunday.
Yes.
So are you clear about the 9 hours is spent in prayer, and then when the eclipse happens, then that moment is like the best outcome, the best outcome, the best outcome, the best outcome, the most beautiful outcome, and then once the eclipse is done, we're off the hook. Then we can go and grill out with our Father's Day candidates. So do check your time zones for the apex again of the solstice and the eclipse, and that 9-hour period in between is really the prayer time. And so hopefully this has been useful for you all. I am so grateful again for everyone, showing up tonight, and for you to forgive me for giving up editing.
I can't think of a better way to spend an hour with people who want to see a better world. I mean, that's, yeah.
Love it.
That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. And you guys, you'll get a notice, for Sunday. If you're able to come on Sunday when we're doing this work Sunday, you're most welcome. And yeah, just would love to hear from you. Email us or message me or whatever. And I'm so grateful to see your faces. It makes me so happy.
And nice to meet some of you whose names I have seen, but faces I have not. So, yes.
All right, we will let you go. Many blessings to you. Have a beautiful, intentional, bright weekend.
Yes. Ride that wave.
Thank you both.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.